Hi, Brad Tonini here from Trusted Advisor Selling. The conversation is all about how do we move forward beyond where we are now into the new normal and what does selling look like? Today, I've got Prabin Gotham with me, digital strategist, great friend of mine, runs a business called Viz. He is a LinkedIn expert, and I wanted to get him on the line because I think LinkedIn has been groundbreaking in the last month or two, but it's going to be part of the new norm. People are saying it's harder and harder to get face-to-face with our buyers, so we've got to start the relationship with LinkedIn. Prabin, g'day, how are you?
G'day, Brad. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. And it's really interesting talking to people proactively about what we're going to do on the other side. I mean, I think we've had this period of transition and people are trying to work out what to do, and sales teams have been operating from home. Some of them don't have all the sales people in their teams anymore. And I think that LinkedIn, to me, I can see the traffic going through it. People are obviously really turning to this as a tool right now, aren't they?
Absolutely, Brad. Obviously we're living in a very interesting time for sure. No one have predicted. So in last, as just looking the other day, LinkedIn Insights, and it's saying from February to March is that the stats is like up almost a sevenfold. So what does that mean for sales professional or sales leader? Is LinkedIn would be the almost like the assistant, or in a simple way, it's a virtual assistant for them to generate more leads, more sales, more opportunities.
It's interesting, Prabin, because you look at it. I think we're going to have a much more mobile sales force out there too, and I've got that on a different program we're talking about as to how we operate in the future, because a lot of people are operating from home. But the feeling I'm getting from people is that face-to-face sales calls, yes, and I'm a big advocate for it, as you know, and think that it's going to be still a major piece of how we do selling in the future. But it's about purposeful selling. Take us to where we start in terms of LinkedIn as to what we need to be using it for to be able to start that process.
Sure, Brad. I mean, in this short conversation, what I would like to cover up is pretty much the key top tips right now, especially for during COVID and post-COVID. What does that new normal look like for sales professional or sales leader, if you like? So first, obviously, just give a bit of context. Last couple of years, obviously, salespeople has been talking about, when you talk, technology or LinkedIn, people say, Praveen, it's overwhelming. They may say, look, it's challenging. You know what? And then some of them say, look, it's moving so fast. And I get that. But in a now, especially after post-COVID, in next couple of years' time, it's going to go more. Simple as that. So, and what does that mean is sales professionals or sales leader must need to learn, and they must need to set some goals, and this is a perfect timing. Even though we're not meeting exact the KPIs, whatever we need to meet, but we understand at least we are setting some ground rules. We are building the foundation. And that's what the number one point is. Look, this is a perfect time to learn and set some goals. So what does that mean? Especially coming back to LinkedIn is a sales navigator, which is a number one platform for B2B business, right? Sales navigator. So many times, obviously, sales professionals or sales leaders are confused about how to use it, how to maximize it, or if you are using, how to use more efficiently or effectively. So the question is, obviously, you need to learn the new ways. How can you prospect? How can you find your ideal quality clients? And how can you really interact with them? So, basic way is, look, if you're really looking for the sales navigator, which is a number one selling tools for LinkedIn, just jump onto there is a new, just from last year, especially the LinkedIn have, last 2 years, LinkedIn have purchased the new platform, lynda.com. So it's a LinkedIn Learning. So if you type LinkedIn Learning in Google, it will just bring the new app. Just download that app and hit the category as sales and go down to Sales Navigator. Oh, gee, that will tell you everything. That will explain everything literally. I think the key here is to learn and implement that strategies. How to use your Sales Navigator, because most likely, Brad, what's happening is a lot of salespeople are just paying $800-900 a year, and they're not even way 3 to 5% even they're not utilizing. It's just they're paying, and sometimes they even don't know that they're paying. And if it is a one person, I understand. But if there's like, 7, 10 salespeople in a company or more, gee, you are spending 10 to 15K just like that. So the idea here is to how can we use this tool very effectively?
You make some fantastic points, and I know you're passionate about LinkedIn because you help so many people with this. But one of the things I just heard from you was that, people can think about, having this great product, but they're not using it. Well, then that's a waste of time. But the other thing is the cost per acquisition of a new connection or new opportunity to actually get into a conversation is so low that, you've got to be in this tool. Now, the thing is, you can waste a lot of time in it just going connect, 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 connect. So you transition people from that idea of just connecting into being more strategic, don't you?
Absolutely. So it's all about the quality versus quantity, which is again going back to the philosophy. People more thinking about connecting. But the whole idea is rather than connecting, adding value, which comes to the second point actually. When you talk about, obviously, once you learn about the LinkedIn, about the Sales Navigator, then the second point is connecting. But when you talk about LinkedIn and connecting, people always think about new business, which is fine. Don't take me wrong, that's fine. I mean, we all look for new business. But however, the time situation is a little bit different, right? Context is a little bit different. So at this point, I mean, if you are closing the leads, if you are closing sales, perfect. I mean, if not, then obviously this is a time where you can really nurture the existing clients or add value to them. So what does that mean is, they might be someone like us, we might be sitting, 5, 7, 10,000. And I know we drive your LinkedIn, we are nurturing that very well. But some of the speakers or some of the consultants, some of the sales leaders are sitting in all these big connections, which I say as a gold mine. They just sit there and they do literally nothing. So the idea here is to not just connect, but obviously adding value, which also start with, if you have an existing customer, right now, what you can do is segment it very clearly. So, there might be hundreds of clients sitting in manufacturing. There might be in logistics. There might be automobiles. There might be 3PL. I don't know. I mean, there might be, different categories. Just segment it, everything. And what you can do in LinkedIn beautifully is you can tag them. Where did you meet? Suppose, let's say BNI, let's say this meet networking, this conference, or let's say sales breakfast, whatever that you have met with these people, you tag it very well. So what we are talking here, Brad, is right message to the right people in a right time.
You couldn't have said it more succinctly than that. It's fantastic. What I just heard from you was this idea of, we reach out, we make this a part of our commitment moving forward. We're obviously connecting. Yep. We're being very specific as about how we do it. We use a Sales Navigator product. The other thing I just heard from you there was nurturing, but nurturing also and understanding your ideal client. People say to me all the time, who do I go and reach out to? And I go through your database, find out who you've had success with in the past. Look through your past clients. Who have you had success with in the past? Look at the people who are asking you for quotes and proposals now. They're a dead giveaway. You start there and you build up this target list. And then when you're doing your connections, you're really using your time wisely, aren't you?
Totally, Brad. Couldn't agree more. I think that's when you're very clear on the targeting or prospecting, then, it's almost halfway job done, as you always teach in the sales course. It's all knowing about who your client avatar is, who your ideal buyers is, and how you can lead them and stimulate, activate, and demonstrate. But you got to understand to stimulate who these buyers are. Simple as that, isn't it, Brad?
Exactly. And the thing is that we get into this conversation and then we start saying, now, how am I going to move this along? And this is something that I hear a lot from salespeople out there. And it's a good question. The etiquette around that, but also the timing around that. You have to be patient, don't you?
Absolutely. And that's a key. Businesses, obviously, it's one connections at a time, building business with the connections and a good relationship. That's not negotiable. Simple as that. You can't, build a business, overnight or, once in a day. So it's that building the relationship, building that commitment all the way along. Now, which also goes to a point 3, which is all about content. And last few days, you won't believe, Brad, even from our sales breakfast and with your mastermind community, what I'm hearing, and a lot of the sales leader, what content do you really want me to post, Praveen? I'm really confused. So in different industry, I have been asking these questions, and I think that's a really good question, because it is a little bit sensitive time. You can't just, post about you, or your products or services or any offer, can you?
I think I switch off, to be perfectly frank with you. When I see someone promoting another product, promoting their latest thing, I just switch off. I want to hear what they're doing for clients. I want to hear the client talking about their experience, or I want to know how they've reached out to people right now.
Absolutely. And it's all about the conversation with the client's focus. And that's all about it is. So when you are drafting the content, when you're writing the content, couple of things you can do, which, if someone is watching this, obviously you can write it down. One is, I'm a great believer in storytelling, or your unique story. So what is your unique story? Obviously, like marketers or any promotional company or ads company, they can do their bits, but what is your crafted story? You gotta nail that up. And I think this is a perfect time, someone at a business owners or sales leader, to really craft that story. Because you know what? After post-COVID-19, people talk about price. I need the best product in the lowest price, Brad. Can I get it?
The other thing I was just thinking about was that, you're talking about a very strategic way of nurturing and bringing people into your funnel, and then obviously delivering really relevant content. I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip a quick little point that back in and I know you do this for people, but the starting point for so many people is to have a really good profile. I don't want to cover that today because I know it's so basic in terms of what you do, but you can show people how to get that right, because I see countless people not getting their profile right.
Absolutely. I mean, maximizing the profile, it's a step one, and then obviously having that consistency across the profile, what you're saying when they jump on the website, because most likely people are checking that, 2-point checkup. So it's not just sitting on the LinkedIn, but they might be clicking on your videos. They might be clicking on some collaterals. They might be jumping on your website. They might be checking or whether this person is trusted enough. Who these clients are. So people are looking at, and if you are saying like one thing here, and if that there is no consistency, how would that be?
Yeah,
so
I think content
first thing is
has to
obviously
make sense. It has to be purposeful. It has to be thought through. It's not just posting for the sake of posting all the time.
No. And that's where it comes with a planning. Obviously, we can't plan for a 1 year. We can't even nowadays. We can't just plan for a 6 month, because the levels are changing from level 3, level 2, level 1, and there's a lot of things changing. But however, what you can do right now is obviously putting that framework for your clients, showing some case studies, showing how you are helping the clients, thought-provoking articles or some posts, sharing that. So the whole idea is to, at least there is a routine, every time we get Monday Mozo from you, okay, we expect that Mozo coming on the Monday. Simple as that. There's a certain routines, simple follow structures. Then people are it seems very clear.
Now, the last point I wanted to cover today, because there's so much we can talk about, but I wanted to give people some really good meat potatoes to walk away with. And the last point I want to cover with you is getting people out of that LinkedIn feed into your world, and how you've got to be really proactive around database building and creating your own communication to your own email list. This is a key piece of what you do, isn't it?
Absolutely, Brad. I mean, look, simple thing is, the point of difference is there's so many LinkedIn speakers, as you see, they go to the workshop, they do the things. That's fine, no problem. I've got a lot of respect for them. But what we truly do is building business through LinkedIn. So what does that mean is, you're not just connecting, which I say often as a spray and literally pray. Doesn't work this way. So you really be a tactical, exactly who your target market, exactly your target avatar, and really building from there. So once you connect, there's a couple of touch points in messaging, if you like, 5 to 7 messaging system. That's part one. Part two will be building that relationship, probably even, jumping on the phone. So I'm a great also believer on converting from online to offline. So we gotta exactly when you run your campaigns, I mean, there's a 7 touch points, and then obviously people, comment, they watch you, they see you, hear about, they like you. And then obviously they say, okay, Brad, please help me, or, how can I be a service? So I think there is a whole part of series as well. And especially in post-COVID, COVID-19, what we have to understand is people want a more, pre-sales is all about try. As you always say, try before you buy. So they want to know the experience. They want to know about the insights. They want to know how can you really able to help them. So it's all about that, showcasing that, not telling, but showcasing.
Oh, wonderful stuff. Praveen, I made a commitment to all my community, all the people who are in my trusted advisor world, 15-minute sound bites, 15 minutes of good information, jam-packed with meat and potatoes. You've done it for me today. And I know there's so much more we can talk about. Please tell people how they can contact you, because I know you do one-on-one coaching and you help people. Give us some details. How do we get in contact with you?
Thanks, Brad. I wish I could do a more, mastermind course, but obviously maybe virtual. I'm planning out the seat. So if you're interested on that virtual training, LinkedIn training, more than happy to do that. That's one. Second thing is, if you have a burning, if you want to really create that collaterals, unique messaging, unique part of your marketing and communication, then perhaps we can help. The best way is to just drop me an email at praveen@visnetwork.com.au. And then we can book out, quick 30 minutes, quick call to discover about how can we be a service to you.
Thanks, Praveen. You know that I'm a big rap for what you do, because you've done so much for me over the years, and I wish you success, but I know that LinkedIn is a key piece moving forward well beyond all this that will stay with us for a long time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brad.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye for now.